French Revolution turned Europe upside down at the end of the 18th century. The king was deposed, and the common man came to rule France in the name of equality, liberty, and brotherhood. One of these common men who seized power in France was Napoleon Bonaparte, who would go on to become one of the most powerful men in world history. Born into a family of petty nobles from the island of Corsica, Napoleon overcame his humble beginnings and symbolized part of the spirit of the French Revolution, that man should succeed based upon his ability, not the class of his birth. Napoleon rose to become the leader and eventual emperor of France from 1799 until 1815. Napoleon seized power in France in a coup d'etat and helped to restore order after the Reign of Terror. He made peace with the Catholic Church, established a new set of laws for France, and he conquered a French empire. After his defeat at the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon was exiled to the small island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic. There, surrounded by a handful of loyal servants and guarded by a company of British Marines, Napoleon wrote the memoirs of his life. Napoleon described his many adventures and accomplishments, and in his own words he wrote that Waterloo will wipe out the memory of my 40 victories, but that which nothing can wipe out is my civil code. That will live forever. The Napoleonic Code was a combination of old Roman law and French feudal law infused with the ideals of the French Revolution. On the one hand, the Napoleonic Code guaranteed many of the rights granted by the Declaration of the Rights of Man, including property rights and civil law. On the other hand, the Code also returned men to the dominant position in the French households and helped cement Napoleon's place as dictator in France. As Napoleon's armies conquered Europe, they brought with them the new French laws, which became the basis for the laws of many of the nations of Western Europe. Today, elements of the Napoleonic Code can be found in places from Germany all the way to Louisiana. Another of Napoleon's great accomplishments was the Concordat of 1801. The Concordat was an agreement between Napoleon and Pope Pius VII that returned the Catholic Church to a place of privilege in France. During the French Revolution, the French clergy suffered greatly, as revolutionaries sought revenge and retribution against the Church after centuries of the unfair class system of the Estates General. Under the estate system, the clergy and the nobles were able to impose their will on the Third Estate and the majority of the population. As a result, the Revolution stripped the Church of its power, its land, and its property. For a time during the Revolution, religion in France was even outlawed. Seeking to restore some of the order that existed in France prior to the Revolution, Napoleon signed the Concordat. Through the Concordat, Napoleon returned some of the Church's power and prestige in exchange for the Pope's promise to crown Napoleon Emperor of France. However, when the Pope arrived to crown Napoleon, in a symbolic gesture, Napoleon took the crown from the hands of the Pope and placed it upon his own head, signifying that he, Napoleon, had the power to make kings on earth. Napoleon was a great general who seized power in France in the name of the Revolution. However, his actions as leader of France were not always in concert with the goals of the Revolution. The matter of whether Napoleon spread or ended the French Revolution is an academic matter for students to digest and debate based upon their own understanding of Napoleon and his accomplishments.